Audition, 1999 Japanese film from Takashi Miike, starring Ryo Ishibashi and Eihi Shiina. The film follows a film producer who, several years after the death of his wife, decides to find a new person to love and remarry. His friend talks him into setting up a fake audition process for a movie. They'll be able to interview a number of young women, and Aoyama, the main character, can then select one of them to try and date. And the movie goes from there. Now, I would love to talk about it in a way not to spoil anything, but I think that would be moot because, first of all, it is a famous and influential movie that is now 27 years old. And even more importantly, because the film itself sort of spoils itself with all of its posters and promotional materials, revealing that there is a more sinister angle to it all. Which I think is a shame because the movie really works best when you go into it blind and know not what to expect. The first hour plays out like a light-hearted romance movie, complete with humor, wacky music, silly montage from the audition process, and you begin to really root for the character because, when the setup is described, a movie executive using a fake audition to find a girl, you'll instantly imagine a sleazebag looking for easy sex. But that's far from the truth. Aoyama seems like a pretty solid dude overall. He has a great relationship with his son, he's respectful to the people around him, he does not want to exploit or use a young woman. He's genuinely looking for a connection, and outside of the initial sort of premise or setup of the audition, all of the things that follow, he's not really misleading, anyone. Every interaction that he has with Asami is fully consensual. Well, until the end, that is, which makes what happens later all the more fucked up and tragic because somewhere after the 1 hour 10-minute mark, the film suddenly morphs into a fucked up trip in and out of reality, where past blends with the present, and we get increasingly more disturbing glimpses into who or what Asami really is. Which then becomes even more fucked up when Aoyama again wakes up to reality and finds himself being abused. There's about a 30-minute section of the film which makes you continuously go, what the fuck is going on here? And it is executed very, very well. The cinematography, the editing, the use of color and light and sound, it all creates a beautifully horrific descent into madness. And the film is very shocking and was very shocking, especially at the time of its release. People were walking out or fainting during the festival screenings. But it has undoubtedly been influential, being cited as an inspiration for and accused of being the progenitor of the torture porn genre, most prominently Hostel, where Takashi Miike even has a cameo. But I would argue it's not just shock for shock's value, at least in this case. The film does tell an interesting story, it has artistic value, and also, this is an important aspect for us here in the West, in Japanese culture and media, depictions of violence and rape towards women have been prevalent and generally accepted for generations. Nobody really blinks an eye on that. And the film flips that dynamic. It asks the question, what if it was the other way around? Are you still comfortable with it? So, bearing that in mind, it's even more evident that it wasn't just gratuitous violence for violence's sake. I loved it. I think it's bold, engaging, shocking, well put together, and very, very memorable, even if it's in the way where seeing it once is enough and you never want a repeat.